show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Boy, oh boy, have we got some news today. I mean, this is going to be alpha drop after alpha drop. It's going to be carnage in the studio here. It is going to be crazy. Things are just ramping up. It's so exciting. OMG, I just can't believe it. And of course, man, we got so much happening over the next 2 days as well on the Crypto Night Show. Your host, Superman, in the house. And of course, get into the chat there, say hello, because we got some pretty alpha stuff there. And we're going to kick it off. Trump, of course, has got some big, ginormous announcement coming out Thursday, Friday, or Monday. We're going to talk about that later on. We also got Richard Hart has just talked about possibly doing a video. PulseChain is starting to rally off the back of that. We got news around the SEC defeat as well. We got so much stuff. We got Racker Michelle as well, news around that. The big whale on PulseChain doing a big PR, what do you call it? I guess wave of promotion. It's going to be pretty exciting. Of course, we're big supporters of Racker Michelle. We're going to be looking to support all that move there for PulseChain. It's a win. And of course, hashtag winning, right? And of course, we're going to be talking about a lot of other stuff on here. Sun Mini Meal with the banks on ramp. We're going to talk about that. And of course, we've got a big interview coming up today in a couple hours' time, only 3 hours from now, with I would argue number one influencer on PulseChain, which is Crypto Coffee. So we're excited about that. And of course, he just recently launched his Top Hat protocol, so that is going to be exciting as well. So can't wait for that. That is going to be huge. So that interview is coming up in a couple hours' time. You do not want to miss that. Of course, Crypto Coffee, they're super experienced and man, just crushes it all the time. Doing a great job for the PulseChain community. So definitely check out that's coming up. We're also going to be covering the stock market results and crypto market results. We're going to get the PulseChain market results. Particularly, we're covering some of the real pumpy ones at the moment, like Soil, like Teddy Takeover. It's going to be pretty exciting. And we're going to cover the markets there. So you guys are going to get it all today. It's just alpha drop. I feel like I'm being bombed from above by alpha bombs. It's going to be crazy. So we're going to have a lot of chat. Get into the chat there. And, of course, don't forget to repost the show. I'm going to get that out there now so you guys can post that. Let's go to the channel there and repost the show today. It's going to be pretty awesome. Now, I just want a big shout out to the Crypto Night Show team. Big shout out to MVS, our promotional lead. He's our promotional leader out there. He's out there, of course, helping teams get promoted along with the Crypto Night Show. So if you do need any promotions for your project, definitely hit us up, either MVS or myself. And of course, also, if you want to do a big shout out also for our moderators, Brian and of course, Wookie out there, you guys are crushing it. We've got other moderators as well. So just appreciate that, Brennan and many others in the show there, Anita and others as well. So big shout out to all the team and the crew there. I've missed a couple of names, but you guys know who you are. Pretty awesome. Now, I just want you guys to post out the show on X. And of course, if you're on Rumble and YouTube, definitely share the show as well. Post show on X, and here is the link for that. Now, we've got all the socials in as well in the video description, so join up to Discord, and of course, all our socials on Telegram. Join up today, become part of our awesome community as we continue to grow here. But yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff happening. Let's get into it without further ado. We've got a couple more comments, so I'm going to go to those. We've got Neil T-Shares there. Hey, man, good to see you. Hey, pleasure to see Neil out there. Big shout out to Neil and the crew over at, of course, what are we talking about? Oracle. We're talking about oracles, aren't we, Neil? We're talking about Oracle, Signum Oracle, and Tetra, of course, which is going to be game-changing DeFi on PulseChain. In fact, I'm not aware we're going to have anything like it. It's going to be completely unique on PulseChain. So big shout out to the team over there. I'm sure Stu is working hard to get that over the line. We've got Valiant in the house there as well. Big shout out, Valiant. Good to see you. And of course, DG and Hexkin in the house as well. I'm loving those little paw prints there. And we've got Frank White. Hey. Hey, it's Frank White. Hey, good to see you, Frank. Welcome to the chat as well. And we're going to have a lot of fun here. Now, I'm just queuing up some stuff on the old social media here. So let me just pick this up, and hopefully we'll get that all up and running there. Neil says, Tetra is so close. Stu is grinding hard. I know he's working hard. I can appreciate that too. And, man, Tetra is going to be quite the game changer I think it's going to be a pretty big niche potentially on PulseChain. I'm really looking forward to that as well. Completely downloadable too, right? Moved away from Web3. Excited about that. Huge updates to Thinkable as well from says Frank White. Yeah, I did see some stuff on X about Thinkable, and hopefully we'll try and do more coverage of that, Frank. I appreciate that. And of course, we've got Brian in house there, our community leader. Big shout out. What's up, folks? Good to see you, Brian. Captain Bucko as well. Maybe this will be the start of Richard's return. A video coming. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. It's our first leading story. Is Richard Hart there and his updates today are just hyper bullish for PulseChain, guys. It is very, very exciting. Now, I've been covering all this bullish stuff. I mean, I'm overwhelmed by it, and you guys can see my excitement. I've been very excited as well. So kind of cool. But then again, you know, I've been here every day during the bear market, through the bull market, through 20 black swan events, through 10 gray swan event. I mean, it's just the way it goes. And now we're coming into the fruit. The harvest is happening. The harvest is happening now, and it's just warming up. It's just warming up. It's gonna be so exciting, guys. Really, it's gonna be pretty cool. Now, I'm talking a lot here, but we're gonna be talking throughout the show, and definitely repost the show. Then I'm gonna just repost it myself and get in there and share the show around. Without further ado, let's get into it, and let's get straight into the content here and move around to the studio here. So this is where we are. We got this from Richard Hart, man. Crazy, right? Let's just full screen this, right? Get rid of all the junk on the side, and you can see this is from Richard Hart. He posted this just a few hours ago. What's it? 4 o'clock in the morning my time, so 8 hours ago. He posted this. The final judgment is in. It says Richard Hart, I have defeated the SEC in court. Something almost no cryptocurrency has ever done. PulseChain, PulseX, and Hex have a legal certainty almost no other coins have. I won for your freedom to publish and associate on the blockchain and to publish the software that empowers you to do so. I did it with no help at all from the industry that I've won a victory for. It's time for us to take it to the next level. And this is the big thing here. So we've got two things, actually. We've got the victory itself, and then we've got this comment here. It's time for us all to take it to the next level. The coast is clear for greatness. Okay, that's that's amazing. New opportunities are open. Opportunities are now open. This is massive, guys. This is what you've all been waiting for. This is pretty exciting, and it only gets better from here because we got another post from Richard Hart, which is building on top of this thing. It's time for us to take to the next level. The coast is clear for greatness. New opportunities are now open. You got to be pretty excited. But let's savor in the victory of this judgment that Richard Hart has done against the SEC. It's not easy to do. It's a lot of pressure when you have a government entity, especially of the United States, after you. It is pretty crazy. And here he has defeated it, where many of the other big crypto projects, the big centralized exchanges and other places have failed and cowered down. Richard has actually defeated 100% in court. And so this is a huge victory. And now it is time for a clear road to greatness and new opportunities. It's just fantastic. It's kind of what we've all been waiting for. And it only gets better from here. So let's get into that. This, of course, is the judgment. And, of course, we've got here a memorandum of order from Honorable Carol B. Ammon, United States District Judge, have been filed on February the 28th, 2025, granting defendants motion to dismiss. Plaintiff request to leave to amend, and any amended complaint must be filed by 20th of March, 2025. An order having filed on May the 5th, 2025, directing the clerk of court to enter judgment in favor of defendants is ordered and adjudged that the judgment is hereby entered in favor of the defendants. And that is the 6th of May, 2025, and of course signed by the court clerk there. That is exciting, guys, and let's savor in that. Let's just take a moment to bring out the old drink of poo and enjoy that one. That is fantastic. But we're on to the next level of greatness, and man, it's well worth savoring, right? Well worth savoring as well. We got a couple of people in the house. We got Craig Pitt. Morning all. Yeah, great X tweets from RH. Absolutely fantastic. You can't do better than that. We got Brian in the house. They're giving out 5 memberships. Big shout out, Brian. Appreciate that. So kind of bullish there. Let me just pull up here. I'm just trying to pull something on the other screen that I've got running. And, of course, 5 memberships there. Who got them? We got Francia got one. Well done to you. Hex Sailing got one. Congratulations. Hexpedition got one. Crypto Bones got one. Big shout out. And Clintron's got one as well. So congratulations all to those 5 memberships on the channel there. If you guys are out there and you want to join the channel as a subscriber, you can do that on YouTube. But you can also participate in the Discord. Join up to that today. And that really is a wonderful community in Discord. Join up today. And, of course, Telegram as well. So get on that one. Thank you very much, Brian. Big fist pump there. And big shout out. We got there Valiant in the house as well. Good to see you, Valiant. Yeah, beers all around. Beers are around there for the victory. And big shout out to Brian. So that's kind of where we are there. Let's go back out and check out some of the rest of the stuff we got here. So Richard, 44 minutes ago, posted about Pierre Poilievre. So if you guys have been following the Canadian election, Pierre was absolutely humming it about 2 months ago, looking very positive to take the control there. I think he just made a strategic mistake as the conservative leader there. I would call him a moderate conservative. That's how I would describe him. So he's got some more liberal positions, I would argue, as compared to a complete conservative. And we can see that in the way he does his politics. I would argue that he's actually, funnily enough, probably the best politician on the planet, pound for pound, but doesn't mean he can't make mistakes. And unfortunately, I think he probably made the biggest mistake he made regarding the way he handled Trump. And that played into the liberal position. And of course, we saw Carney there, the globalist, coming over from London and only been in Canada for a couple of weeks, end up taking the prime ministership. And of course, do not mistake him. He is a full-on globalist Marxist. And so he's going to put authoritarian control in Canada and, of course, just continue to destroy the Canadian identity, right? So that's kind of where the Carney is. And, of course, Carney met Donald Trump today in the White House. They had a meeting. Trump made it very clear around tariffs that they weren't going to be changing or budging. So he really put the pressure down on that. And so, I think Trump is looking for that. Now, what's the play for Trump? Well, it seems to me the play for Trump in Canada is that Alberta will fall first. Now, Alberta is currently running, running a what do you call it? Not a poll, but I've forgotten the name of it. He's running, to get out of Canada, basically. And so we're going to see how that goes. Hopefully the word will come back to my mind. And so that's running at the moment. And so maybe state by state, Canada will start falling away into the greater America. So we're talking about the greater United States. That would include Alaska. That would include Greenland. That would include parts of Canada. Maybe end up getting a lot of Canada. Maybe not the whole thing because there's some very liberal states. But this could be where we're seeing what happens over the next couple of years. And so we'll get that greater United States. That's going to be great for strategy. Now that's going to be wonderful prosperity and safety and security in the short term. But I only wonder whether it's a risk in the long term because therefore it's a much easier block to hand over to the globalists. But either way, I think it was going to happen anyway. That's what their intention is to do, right? So I think that's pretty where we're sitting at the moment. Now, that being that said, even though Poilievre lost the leadership there, he actually only lost overall by 2 percentage points. And so we may see in the future some power play back into his favor in Canada. So it's going to be pretty interesting to watch the Canadian story. Other than that, you're talking about net zero, authoritarianism, the flooding of the borders, immigration really is going to be a bloodbath in Canada. We got Pierre Poilievre. If you're invited to speak at Joe Rogan, you go, period. You absolutely positively can't lose. And anyone that is telling you otherwise is either stupid or lying to you. He's friendly and funny, and it's the largest podcast in history. You've done well, very well. You've done well, and adversarial type. So the logic makes less sense. So anyway, so that's kind of what he's talking about going there. Now I think that Trump's got this goal about pulling Canada apart and putting it into the United States, and I think that's the only play. Otherwise, why would you support Carney, a globalist, right? Why would you enable them to facilitate, winning Canada? That's the only way I can see it playing out. And of course, these globalists they're what I call beta men, right? So they're very weak leaders. We got them here in New Zealand, Australia, in Canada, in the UK. These people are destroying the West, and there's no return after they've done it, right? There's no return after they've done that. So we'll see what happens here. I think it's going to be pretty interesting. It's interesting that Richard Hart's following so closely on this topic as well. So there we are. That's from Richard there. In fact, I forgot to actually repost Richard's post, so I'm going to repost that now. Now, the big news, of course, is 47 minutes ago, we got the biggest video that people have been wanting, right? And that is this one here. Should I record a video right now? Now, that is bomb fantastic. Fantastic news there, and we're excited about it, right? So should I record a video right now? 43,300 views already in 47 minutes. OMG, that is some serious engagement. As I said to you guys, Richard has the biggest engagement out of any founder, any influencer that I'm aware of. Just goes to show when he comes back how glorious it will be. He's defeated the SEC. He has got the kudos for that. and now he's talking about on to greatness and, of course, new opportunities. It is fantastic, guys. I mean, you can't do much better than that. So, yeah, I've got here, PulseChain community says, hell yeah. And, of course, that is our sentiment. That's how we feel about this, right? So this is very, very hyper bullish, guys. Very hyper bullish indeed. Now, I also reposted that as well on the channel. And so that is out there. I've reposted the judgment there. And, of course, reposted that there about Richard Hart, considering posting a video. I think it's going to be pretty amazing, to infinity and beyond. It is very, very exciting. Now, that's the big news coming out today. I hope you guys have enjoyed that. And, of course, if you haven't checked out Richard Hart, definitely do that. And, you're going to have a lot of fun with that. So I'm going to give you the post. If you want to make a comment or repost that, definitely get out there as well. Richard Hart do a video. And that is the link right there if you guys want to check it out. And, of course, leave a comment. Show your support. I mean, this is the moments. This is the moments that count, right? It is very, very exciting. So there we go. Now, we got a couple more comments in the chat as well. We got Brian says, yeah, man, I want to see him light the candles. Absolutely green candles all over the place. A whole mansion full of green candles, wherever he is. That'd be pretty awesome. We got Captain Buck's in the house. It's been far too long. It has, Captain Buck. And it's great to see him back there. But then in many ways, it's got the community has to come together. The developers have to come together. The influencers come together. The people in the community have to come together. And it's really, toughened up the old PulseChain community, right? And, we've seen lots of different things happen. And I think we're coming out the other side stronger. And now we've got the leader and the founder of PulseChain coming out through victory. And he's talking about on to greatness and new opportunities. It's fantastic. Brian's like, yes, it has. Yes, it has indeed. Website needs to work again without downloading and running local. Okay, IFS. Yeah, so some people obviously got issues with that. I certainly have had some issues with that. Captain Buck in the house there. Don't sleep on Sparta. Its main LP is Hex. There we are. That's from Captain Buck. And, of course, that's playing very well into the old Sparta play there with the old Hex probably getting pumped as we speak. We're going to come to the markets very shortly. But very, very exciting in there. So that is the big news there from Richard Hart, but we got even more. I said to you that's going to be like raining alpha bombs all day because it's been like that for days now, isn't it? We've just had one epic show after another with alpha bombs, and man, it's not going to slow down. The next couple of days, we've got some major interviews. We've got Crypto Coffee coming up today. You do not want to miss that interview with the biggest PulseChain influencer, I would argue, in PulseChain. And, of course, he's got his new Top Hat in tribute of Richard Hart Top Hat token, which he launched only a couple of days ago. We're going to hear all about Crypto Coffee, all his perspectives and insights into crypto, PulseChain politics, and I guess Top Hat. So if you guys are in Top Hat, that's going to be very bullish there. It's only about 2.5 hours from now. We're going to be doing that stream. It's the second stream for today. Crypto Coffee. Do not miss that one. All right, so that's going to be pretty exciting, and you can already see it scheduled on the YouTube channel, and I will be posting that on Rumble later on. So everybody have access, obviously, on Discord and also on X. So you guys will hear about that. Now, the next big thing, of course, we know Rackham Rochelle's come into leadership as well, our biggest whale on PulseChain. The biggest sacrifices on PulseX, and Pulse has really started ramping up, showing huge leadership on PulseChain, has got a bit of insider knowledge. We know that, right? We know that. We saw him say a comment yesterday about Richard Hart. So, this guy, they've got some clued up insider knowledge there. And Rackham Rochelle is coming to the party. He's been doing tons of things in terms of PulseChain. Obviously, getting involved in number one holding positions to particular projects, doing a lot of new capital outlays, reviewing a lot of new projects, and him along with Steve Hitson have been assessing portfolios on PulseChain and showing big support. Now, the other big thing, of course, he started to get into is a lot of social media and leading the way on that. So that's been really huge, being in X spaces and stuff like that. But he has today announced a really big update 5 hours ago, and this is huge. So this is the next sort of thing that Rackham Rochelle is doing to help PulseChain, and you can see it's on the back of Richard Hart now, talking about greatness and opportunities. And no, they got a little red phone between each other, but this is looking pretty awesome, isn't it? So talking about new opportunities and onto greatness, Rackham Rochelle says, just a little update to let the community know what is transpiring. Steve Hitson, it's his front man, does a lot of his portfolio analysis on projects, is actively reviewing the RFQ for PR Web and triaging a customer PR package, so PR public relations package. See prior post in reference to PR announcements. We are working closely with several PR writers as well as financial analysts and have several articles underway as we speak. We are aware that once the various press releases commence, it shall be paramount for the community to rally behind this effort in the form of retweets. Now, I've just thrown, the Kryptonite Show and our team behind this, and I put out a public post about that. I'm sure that a lot of people in the community, whether you're a formal influencer doing videos, or whether you're an influencer in the community with a big following and sharing the word constantly, it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, everybody plays their part in the old PulseChain community. This is a really big deal to support. So looking forward to more and more people in the community falling in behind and rallying the troops, because this is our moment. This is our moment. This is the time. And of course, whenever you've got big players here leading the way, whether they're even small players, but big players in particular, you know that things are on the move, right? This really actually matters. And he's pointing this out as well. This actually matters. So throwing support behind these big things is a big, big, big deal. Kind of cool. And we've got Steve Hitson and I hoping that the community actually supports this, as we really are going to put the effort in. So I really do strongly suggest everyone support this. I'm going to be supporting it along with the rest of the Kryptonite Show team. It's going to be pretty exciting. Now, guess we will see. Hoping for the best for PulseChain and PulseX, and of course the Hex and incentive token community. And before anybody asks, Grok, triaging is the process of sorting and prioritizing patients or tasks based on the severity of their condition or urgency of need. In medical context, it involves assessing patients to determine the order in which they should receive treatment, especially in emergency situations. The term has historical roots dating back to military medicine, where it was essential to maximize survival rates among wounded soldiers. Triage can also apply to other fields, such as project management, where tasks are prioritized based on their importance and deadlines there. And so I really is on the move here for the PR for PulseChain. It's going to be pretty awesome. He's already had 10,000 views on that already, and that's only been in about 4 or 5 hours. So that's pretty exciting. And here is MVS, our promotional lead. And of course, this is who you want to talk to if you want to get promotion for your project. You've got my support in the entire Kryptonite Show family. Rock on, Rack and Michelle, 100% agree with that. So that's pretty awesome there. I'm going to repost that as well. Please also allow the alien some love there. So we've got lots of project teams coming in the back there. The best PR, got the DM. So we've got a lot of people coming in and supporting that. Gerardo there, Turbo, a lot of people in the house there. If you can find some way to resolve the Interpol nonsense, you'll be a champion as hero. And it's underway as we speak. Now, we know that obviously the Interpol is still sitting out there, but we know that that is being worked on to get that removed as well for Richard Hart there, with some ridiculous claims as well made. So that's kind of cool. Sparta is bullish. We talked about that. Lots of people in the house there. So a lot of people on the move there for that one. So that's pretty bullish there. You can't argue better than that, right? So that is coming from Rack and Michelle. We just got another post here just off the press too. People don't understand. I don't abandon ship. In other words, he is supporting the chain there, and that's very exciting. I think we've got some cool animations there from, I think that's RG's 3, isn't it? Background there with the old sailors. So kind of cool. He is well and truly committed. And yeah, I am bag biased, PulseChain. A lot of cool stuff there. So yeah, really cool stuff here, and coming from him. So he's had just lots of updates, hasn't he, around PulseChain. Obviously trying to get Binance listings as well, Rack and Michelle. So it is really cool where we're heading here. And we got obviously the PR stuff here. How does everyone feel about Steve Hitson and I going to battle for PulseChain? Let's schedule a regular PR newswire. And of course, he's also got that going, right? Newsrooms. Look at this. All these newsrooms and journalists, huge network of PR. And so he is not holding back. He's going all guns with this. This is very exciting. We know we're on the precipice of a massive rally in crypto. The bull market is ahead of us, and everything is lining up. The stars are aligned. Pretty awesome there. So yeah, just non-stop stuff here from Rack and Michelle. Very excited. Now, we're hoping to get Rack and Michelle on the show. We have had some discussions, so hopefully we'll get that to formal booking there. And so we may very well have Rack and Michelle, the biggest whale, coming on the show as well in due course. So, keep tuned for that. And, yeah, it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. Now, talking about, the biggest whale. So we've gone from the founder, Richard Hart. Now we've gone to the biggest whale, Rack and Michelle. And now we're going to go to the biggest influencer, Crypto Coffee. This honestly, I feel like I'm getting rained on with alpha bombs. It's just going on here. And we've got an interview with Crypto Coffee coming up in about 2.5 hours. Looking forward to this. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Crypto Coffee's just done such a great job as a PulseChain influencer for years now. And, really gives a great balance and fair view of things. And so it's going to be very exciting to see him talk about his view on crypto, PulseChain, perhaps some politics, perhaps markets and financial markets, and of course his very new token in tribute of Richard Hart called Top Hat, which launched the other day and has done pretty well. So we're going to get into Crypto Coffee and find all out about that. So it's going to be a lot of fun there. That's only 2.5 hours away from now, so don't stay tuned for that. Hit the bell on the video on YouTube, and I will be posting it on Rumble and X, and of course Discord, so you will all see that too. All right, so that's pretty exciting. Coming up with Crypto Coffee. Now, the other big thing, of course, is we've gone from what? Richard Hart. We've gone from Rack and Rochelle, the big whale. We've gone from the biggest influencer, Crypto Coffee, which we're going to be interviewing in a couple of hours' time. And then we've got what? We've got Sun Mini Meal coming on with our biggest badass on-ramp, fiat on-ramp to PulseChain within 5 minutes. And this is on a phased launch over 48 hours. They've just got a few things to fix up, but this is coming out too. The Sol token, of course, has absolutely done super well since we've been covering it, and overnight in particular, it's been doing well. And that's on the title of the video, right? The old Sol token there. I call it Sol, but it's Sol token. It's got a lot of soul too, but that's just the way it goes. And we had an update from Banksa, and this was out from just yesterday. So this has been out for about, I don't know, maybe 14 hours, this update, but very important here. Update about Banksa integration from Sun Mini Meal. Now, remember, this is the big corporate, right? This is a big corporate from Europe supporting PulseChain and also adding their value onto PulseChain. So 20% of their revenue coming onto PulseChain, burning the Sol token. This is massive, guys, and they're going global. So super successful, super food, right? And it's going to be fun to see this play out on PulseChain. This is just another big thing for PulseChain. And of course, we're excited to announce that Sol has successfully launched on Banksa. However, we want to transparently accumulate some initial issues. Important notice, we kindly ask users to refrain from using the on-ramp until these minor issues are resolved. Current issues, there were some price display issues. The widget's price fetching is currently inaccurate, showing discrepancy of approximately 10%. API reliability, some calls to the Batias API are failing. Our team is actively investigating this. And liquidity, Banksa's on-chain stablecoin holdings need to be increased to meet demand. And this last one here took my fancy. Because I thought this is pretty cool and not surprising, not as intuitive, but Banks' on-chain stablecoin holdings need to be increased to meet demand. Yes, please. And we know they've already bought hundreds of thousands of dollars to PulseChain. And man, this is suggesting very bullish demand and therefore bullish, demand for stablecoin too. So yeah, that was a pretty, that really, piqued my interest there with that one. Now, integration model, we've completely implemented a unique model by integrating Batias into the background. Instead of providing liquidity directly to Banksa, when you purchase through their widget, Banksa buys soil equivalent to order. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Banksa buys soil equivalent to your order in stablecoins via Batias. So that is the key mechanism there. So Banksa buys soil equivalent to your order in stablecoins via Batias. This ensures that liquidity remains decentralized and can be adjusted in one place. In other words, PulseX, it's a secure, centralized integration in which the exchange accesses DEX liquidity rather than selling pre-provided tokens. At this model, so it's very market-driven. This model is the first of its kind, some initial challenges are expected. Of course, the fee structure there, they've got that broken down, pretty much 1% for EU, Canada, 2% bank transfer for US. Banks and we have agreed that there will be no added spread. The real-time market price for Batias from Batias will be offered with no hidden fees. So that's really cool. So it's all market-driven, fantastic. So we'll see it directly relay in the prices and the supply. We are treating the above challenges with high urgency. We'll keep you updated. Our ultimate goal is to provide PulseChain with the best on-ramps, more to come soon. So that was pretty exciting there. And of course, a lot of people appreciate the support and of course the transparency there. And so that was pretty cool. We're getting a lot of positive stuff here from somebody and Hex Scout. It's kind of neat to see that. And of course, Crypto Pros everywhere, Brownies everywhere as well. And we've got a lot of cool people commenting on that. So that is the case there, but I'm sure they'll have that all ironed out pretty soon. And we're excited about that coming into market because that is a mega thing from a big European corporate there. So absolutely huge news in the market there. So I just like to highlight that, alpha bombs everywhere. Richard Hart possibly doing a video, being in the SEC. We've got Rack and Rochelle just ramping up investment, leading in terms of promotion for PulseChain with PR and doing X Spaces, socials, and all that sort of stuff. It really is getting exciting. And then we've got obviously Crypto Coffee coming on the show, the biggest influencer, talking about his protocol and his view of PulseChain and crypto later on, only 2.5 hours away. And of course, Sunny Mini Meal, this big giant European food superfood company that is onboarding its value to PulseChain. They cannot understate that enough. And of course, not just doing that, but also creating a seamless onboarding experience for no coiners. So massive growth, massive capital potential to flow into PulseChain, and we're just getting started. And man, in the next 24, 48 hours, that thing could be humming. What's it going to do to the soil price? I mean, it's going to be crazy, I think. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, the other thing, of course, is we're going to get into PulseChain and the markets. So we're going to talk about that. Before we do that, we're going to get into the general stock market and crypto market very quickly. So definitely get into the chat and let us know how you're feeling about where PulseChain is now, because that's just on fire right now. And with Richard Hart coming out talking about a video, I just cannot stop my excitement. I'm so excited about that. It is just another sign of where we're going. And then Richard Hart says, we're on the road we're on to greatness now. Opportunities are being taken up, and then we see a lot of the big players starting to move. I mean, honestly, it's getting very exciting, guys. Very exciting indeed. We got Blair in the house there. Hi, all. Good to see you, Blair. We got Hexcavator as well. Woo-hoo-hoo. Let's go. And a big shout out to Trent out there. I hope you guys are keeping safe. You and Hexcavator in that state. Apparently, a big storm is coming. So take care out there. And of course, our prayers are with you that you'll get through that all nicely. We got NJ in house there. Richard Hart can't be your Superman. Your Superman, says NJ there. We got that in the house there. No, he's not my Superman, but he's the founder of PulseChain, and we're a big supporter, of course, of Richard and PulseChain. So that's kind of the way we look at it. We got Fat Sammy in the house there. Big shout out to Fat Sammy in the Pulse Bitcoin community. And we got Doge says Brian. That's talking about Doge. I've got to remember that one. What else there we got? A couple of other people in the house there. Fat Sammy says Coast bringing UK direct GBP to PulseChain is massive for on-ramp. Yeah, and we did talk about that the other day, Fat Sammy, when we covered Coast. I did a whole show on all the on-ramps, and of course all the dexes, aggregators, and swaps. And also I did a show on all the block explorers. That's all in one show. Go back and watch that. If you want the definitive list, I would say it's pretty definitive list there on those. Then check out that video, because we went through the whole lot, including Coast bringing the new banking methods, as well as the new fiat currencies there. So pretty awesome, and a big shout out to Coast, who have crushed it. $9.6 million that Coast has bought to PulseChain can't be underplayed, can't be understated. That's massive. And of course, their targeting is 50 million, right? That's their goal. And I think it's going to start ratcheting it up once we move closer and closer into this bull market cycle. It's going to be pretty awesome. All right, so happy, says Fat Sammy. That is true. All right, so let's get into the stock market quickly. This is going to be really quick, but we've got the S&P 500 slips on the lack of US-China trade progress. Now, that's kind of ironical, because that's actually been progressing pretty well on the back streets there. China is in trouble economically, politically. Also, I think there's a problem between President Xi and his military. And so we've got a lot of issues there as well. But the China is in trouble with factories closing down on tariffs. Of course, sales as well, export sales. US is clearly not just trying to get a better deal with China, which, remember, the deficit with China, trade deficit's about 300, maybe $350 billion. Remember, that's kind of the amount. And remember, the total trade deficit the US has in the last sort of 12 months last year was 1.2 trillion, just to give you some context about how big this is. And of course, that's accumulative, right? So not just 1 year, but they've been running sort of $1 trillion deficits for years and decades, right? So that's been a pretty big problem there. Now, on the countenance, of course, they have been running service exports surplus, but of course, that services don't feed you. They don't feed you. They don't defend you. And so this is the difference between goods and services, right? So it's a very important distinction as well. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. We got the Dow Jones there is down 1% at 390 points to 40,800. We got the S&P 500 down almost 0.8%. 43 points to 5,600, and we got the Nasdaq there down 0.9%, 154 points to 17,700. So that's kind of where we are on the markets. US dollars up a little bit, 1/3% to 99.39 versus trading partners. We got the commodities at the moment. We got crude oil there is up 1%, and they're both up 1%. Actually, crude West Texas and Brent oil to just under $60 and $62.70 respectively for West Texas and Brent oil there per barrel. We've got gold at the moment down 1%. It is down $34 to $3,389, and silver there is down 1/3%, 12 cents to $33. So those are commodities. Now, the other big thing we've been seeing is that the Federal Reserve has been printing money, and of course issuing, getting those. So that's pretty cool. Issuing, basically printing money there, and of course that's been pretty bullish for where this might go into crypto, right, and the stock market. So expect some potential uplift from that as well, as more of that money circulates through the big banks typically. So let's see where that all lands. Now, Trump says China willing to negotiate on trade, but stops short of signaling progress. President Donald Trump said China wanted to negotiate on trade deal to end the current trade war, but stopped short of signaling urgency to resolve the conflict, saying the US and China would meet at the right time. Now, obviously, the fact that this has turned, where China wasn't going to do anything, and now they're kind of in that middle phase, right? That malaise, because they're working behind the scenes to do a deal, because China needs a deal. Now, the other thing is not only dealing with the deficit, the trade deficit, but also, I think China gets the idea, and they're quite right, that the US is looking to diversify their imports, right? So moving to other Southeast Asian countries and other countries around the world, and they're going to be doing big deals with 115 countries or more. And of course, Trump's going to decouple to some degree from China, and this is a very smart move, right? Very smart move there. And so, it's a long time coming. And of course, liberal and progressive economists and policymakers have all been absolute lunatics for decades. You guys know my opinion on those. They are still destroying the West, the globalist Marxists. These guys are crazy nut jobs. I've had to listen to the decades, pulling my hair out, going, everything you guys are saying and proposing is idiotic. Narratives like we're going to do a managed decline of the United States. It's inevitable that China will become number one. I mean, these are all just ridiculous claims, and of course, completely untrue. And here we are in 2025. We've got President Donald Trump showing how stupid those claims are, right? Showing how stupid those claims are. And so over the next 4 years, you're going to see the fruits of that. It's going to be crazy. And look, we've had to watch this in New Zealand, and our media is full of just complete morons and idiots. I mean, it really is hard to watch, and that's why I'm saying it pretty bluntly, because it's they just go on non-stop. Now, at the moment, New Zealand, we've got our mainstream media trying to put apartheid into our country, more and more deep in apartheid. I mean, it's crazy. We were the country against apartheid back in the 80s, and now here we are, the country pushing apartheid. I mean, it's just insanity. And so we've got this happening. We've got our mainstream media pushing the replacement of all our people, our Kiwis, replacing us, replacing our culture, telling us we're the bad people. We're one of the best countries in the world. I don't know what what are they smoking? What are they smoking? And so this is just an idiotic stuff, and of course, instead of them supporting victims, they support the criminals. I mean, it's like, are you guys on the same planet? What are we upside down world? What's going on here? So it's pretty crazy. And so this is long overdue. All this stuff is long overdue, and it takes some tough love to make it happen. Markets had briefly cut some losses on hopes that the major announcement on trade after Trump touted he would have very, very big announcement to make. And we're going to be talking about that because that's what we've got to play here. So let's play the video of Trump talking about something very, very big coming. And of course, this is exciting. Like I said to you, we're going to be winning all the time with Trump. We're going to be in the golden age. We're going to have amazing security, increasing security. He's already shut down the border. He's cleaning up these state by states, getting the criminals off the streets, and so on and so on. You guys know how it works, and it's very exciting to see that. I wish we had that here. I honestly wish that we had that here. It would have been so good. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit of the glow, the golden glow of the golden age of America happening here as well. Anyway, this is Trump's video here with Prime Minister Carney from Canada on the big thing that's coming up here.
And we'll have maybe before we're going to, as you know, the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. We're going to UAE and Qatar, and that'll be, I guess, Monday night. Some of you are coming with us. I think before then we're going to have a very, very big announcement to make, like as big as it gets, and I won't tell you on what, but it's going to, and it's very positive. I'd tell you if it was negative or positive. I can't keep that up. It is really, really positive. And that announcement will be made either Thursday or Friday or Monday before we leave. But it'll be one of the most important announcements that have been made in many years about a certain subject, very important subject. So you'll all be here.
All right, so that's coming up Thursday, Friday, or Monday, the huge announcement. And it's going to be very, very positive. So we're looking forward to that. I mean, honestly, the winning's just starting, guys. It is pretty awesome. Now, you guys know I've covered Trump's strategy. It is very, very cool. We've got basically, the tariffs for the World Trade Organization. We've got regulation, which is going to be deregulated. We're going to have a lot of leveraging in the middle, small to medium banks. We're going to see a lot of, obviously, the big tax bill. These are some of the key components of his three-legged stool strategy, and it is playing out extremely well. And we even have China in that middle phase of towards making a deal. And of course, we have 115 countries already making a deal. We're probably going to get India and Japan coming up first with the deals. It is pretty awesome. And now he's going to the Middle East. And of course, we just found out the Houthis are going to stop fighting as well. And they've pretty much moved aside because Trump was pummeling them. And of course, to stop there. So, things are heading in the right direction. We saw a recent minerals deal with Ukraine, particularly around lithium as opposed to rare earths, which they obviously comment on. But that's going to be pretty exciting too, leading hopefully towards peace eventually there once the games have stopped, right? The games between Putin and, Ukraine have stopped there. So it's going to be interesting to see that play out for it. So hopefully win after win. And we're going to move to this golden age with the world peace. That's going to be pretty fun. All right, so that is kind of there from Trump. Now, we obviously got big news coming up with the Federal Reserve meeting. This is the one area that Trump doesn't control but can put pressure on. And of course, because the Fed's supposed to be neutral, right? You have to change it, I think, through Congress to change it. Because the Fed kicks off its two-day meeting Tuesday with the central bank expect to hold interest rates steady. Now, this is Trump's wanting these to be lowered. We're currently at 4.5% on federal funds rate. We want to get that lowered. Probably, in my guess, is to about 3.5%. That'd be another percentage point down. So that's kind of it, because obviously Trump has managed to get oil prices down per barrel over $20 since he's got in over the last 100 days. But he also needs, that works very well for commodities because oil is pretty much in, maybe 85 to 90% of products in the world. But we also need to get the interest rates down to run through all the financial markets, in particular lending and of course, investment, right? So that's kind of where we are there. And so that's the one he's trying to work on to get the inputs into the United States down. So imagine you get the inputs down, oil and interest rates, and then you can really make the whole society flourish, right? You bring inflation down, you open up the supply side, which is really what he's doing. And it's going to be pretty exciting to see where we go here in the golden age. And of course, over $8 trillion in investment already inside just over 100 days. So it's really, really exciting to see where this is all heading. It's really going to be truly amazing. So we got obviously the Fed here is going to be the sticky bit. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell recently signaled policymakers are in a wait and see mode amid tariff concerns. This comes despite overt pressure from President Trump and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to cut policy rates. Given the decision is largely seen as a foregone conclusion, the focus will be on comments from Powell to get insights into the Fed's future rate path. A reading of activity in the U.S. service sector, which accounts for more than 2/3 of the economy, output was stronger than anticipated. Of course, remember that the US is really 2/3 of the US economy is consumption, is the big consumer of the world, and therefore it holds most of the cards, right? This is what Trump always says. We, pretty much hold the cards, and of course that is true. In fact, he's going to hold more and more and more cards as each country does a deal. It's going to be, a stronger position because he's basically cementing that in. Still, a metric of prices paid by service companies rose, adding to worries that the duties could fuel inflationary pressures. And that's one of the little meeky things that are still out there at the moment. So U.S. goods and services deficit widened in March following an uptick in imports as businesses raced to lock in prices before the implementation of elevated tariffs. And, of course, adjusted for seasonality, but not price changes, the trade gap rose by 14% to $140 billion, I should say, from a downwardly revised $123 billion in February. And that is where we are at the moment. Now, obviously, we're still getting a lot of corporate data in. So, obviously, we've had Ford rose up by 2%. We also had Tesla stock fell by more 1%. So, obviously, Elon Musk has stepped down from Doge. Doge, did I say it right, Brian? And, of course, is going back to focus on his technology companies, in particular Tesla and SpaceX for the Mars mission next year. Mars mission next year, it's going to be absolutely amazing, guys. You got to get excited about that, because he's going to have his little Optimus Primes robots land on Mars, and I think that's going to be unbelievable, right? People are going to be absolutely, it's going to be breathtaking to see, assuming it lands successfully, which, I'm giving him a fair amount of confidence. Let's say maybe not 50-50, maybe not confidence, but it's probably more like 50-50. But let's see where we land. And then having a video of it, of course, he's getting videos. It takes about 4 minutes from the video to get to from Mars to Earth. Maybe 6 minutes at tops, depending how far away it is. But that is going to be pretty exciting to see little Optimus robots coming out of the starships landing on Mars. I mean, seriously, guys, welcome to Star Trek. It's the beginning. This is the beginning. And Warp 1. We're at Warp 1. But that's going to be pretty game-changing. That's the end of next year. That's the window, right? Next year, which I think was October, November is the earliest year. That's when they have to leave. And by the time they get to Mars, that will be the shortest connection between the two planets, right? And therefore, that'd be pretty awesome. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. on that. And yeah, let's see where we are on that one. So we got crypto. Let's talk about that. And we're going to go to the big screen on this one because we like a big green screen here. We got Bitcoin at the moment is up 2.9%. So stock market down a little bit, but crypto is up and 2.9%. Looking at $97,300. So we're up 2.9% there. Pretty exciting. Bitcoin dominance has gone up. It's gone up 63.15%. OMG. You guys know altcoin season started last bull market at around 70% on the dominance, where Bitcoin was 70% of the market. And here it has gone up to 63.14. Man, oh man, we're getting close, aren't we? We're getting close, man. It's going to be crazy. We've got Ethereum there at the moment, $1,837 is up 1.3%. Solana at 1.8%, $148. And of course, Solana will be a real measure, right? Because the meme chain, and it's going to be a real measure of success. It fell off in January, had a little bit of a move up, a week or so ago, and now is at sitting at up 1.8%. We've got ADA at the moment is up 3.66%, 68 cents. We've got XRP up 1.8%, $2.16. We've got BNB up 1% at $605. That's moved back over 600. We've got Tron down 1% at just under 25 cents, and Litecoin making a big move at the moment, up 12%. Look at that. Woohoo! The old Litecoin there. Now, I used to play a lot of games, a lot of sort of GameFi games over on Litecoin, like little farms, and, you buy a cow and you buy sheep, and they're all crypto game. But it's just crazy to some of the stuff we've got into crypto over the years. So you think about some of the things you've got into crypto, they're pretty crazy. And of course, often they're short-lived, short-lived little pump and dumpers, but it's pretty crazy, some of the animations there. Anyway, food for thought there for some of the PulseChain developers. Maybe bring over some of those Litecoin games and see how they do on PulseChain. All right, so that is kind of where we are there. Let's jump into the markets, though, and get into the rankings here for the overall crypto. We're going to go back to our previous format. And, of course, here we are with crypto, $3.8 trillion. Pretty awesome. We're down 1% at the moment, but, man, Bitcoin is up, and that's the key one we're marking. And of course, on this Bitcoin chart here, it's up slightly lower, 2.9% on 24 hours, but sitting at 96,300. We've got Ethereum there at number 2, is $1,808, up 1.4%. We've got XRP at number 4, up 1.8% at $2.15. Ranked number 5 there, BNB. Number 6, Solana. And what else? We've got Doge there at number 8. We've got a Cardano at number 9 and Tron at number 10 there, down 1.1%. Now, the best performer for the top 10 has been Bitcoin at 1.7%, followed by Ethereum. So that has been the same as yesterday. It's still dominating in the last week there at the moment, Bitcoin. Now, looking for the top 100 over the last week, we've got Dexy, that is up 18%. Quant is up 15%. Hyperliquid is up 14%. Virtuals is up 11%. And Aave has managed to go into number 5, beating out Monero at up 6.4% for the week. So those are kind of your leaders in the top 100, right? Overall, we got top gainers in the tokens on CoinGecko. CoinGecko's just got under 17,000 tokens listed, and we can see that Alpaca there is up 104%. Veracity, I should say, 6.7%, and Luma there, top gainers, up 30%. And I'm not sure what really makes that list. I haven't really thought about it, but those are what's on the list there. Trending, Vayner Chain, AI Companions, and Saros there seem to be trending as well. So that is where we are on the overall crypto, which is going to lead us into PulseChain. And we're going to check out the markets. How have they responded to all the bullish news coming out from Richard Hart, particularly beating the SEC? And then, of course, talking about getting a video up and running. That'd be pretty exciting. Obviously, people are still calling for a live stream. We know that a lot of people are keen on that. All right, see who else has jumped in the chat here. We got Poofy Token in the house there. Evening Kryptonians. Hey, I like that. Yeah, you're the first one to ever say that. That's pretty awesome. Hey, Evening Kryptonians. That deserves a magical twinkle. That does. Yeah. We got Brian in the house there, giving us another. This is a second fist pump there, Brian. Yes, you did, boss. Doge. Oh, don't say Dodge. Yeah, Doge. It's Doge, Brian. Don't say Dodge. I'm spinning it back to you, man. I'm spinning it back. We got what's up, peeps? We got Spike in the house. Power on for sure. In fact, let's give it some old power. There we go. We got the sound effects coming out now. But hey, look, we're going to get into PulseChain results. How have they been going with Richard Hart talking about doing a video? Let's check it out without further ado, and let's get into it. So we got the markets that are moving on Richard Hart's video here. We got obviously crypto's moving, but PulseChain is up 726 days since PulseChain launched on the 13th of May 2023. And of course, 726 days later, here we are. PulseChain is at quadruple 285, up 7.5%, and the sacrifice price it is sitting at 29% of the mean sacrifice price there. We got PulseX at the moment up 8.7%, quadruple 231 sitting at 23% of the mean sacrifice price. So both of them still in heavy accumulation zone for both Pulse and PulseX. We got the buy and burn sitting at 1.4 trillion, 7.08% of the public supply has been bought up and burned. That excludes the OA sacrifice wallets there. We've got INC, $1.28, up 12% on the old INC. Man, that thing can move, can it? And of course, recently we saw it move from about $1.15 up to about like almost $1.70 or so around that mark, then come back down again. But man, it can move, this old INC there. And of course, we know Richard Hart teams cut the inflation on INC, moving it down by 20x, down to about 5% of what used to be. We've got about 55 million tokens in existence, and of course, it's only creating another 2,600 per day, which is about 0.03%, 0.03 ink per second. So yeah, we can do the seconds on the show. That's how we go. Now, obviously, talking about PulseX incentive token, what will happen with the Master Chef contact there? Master Chief contract. Am I talking properly? Master Chief contract. Will we get it handed over to the DAO? We will see. We'll see what happens there in single side stake and all that sort of stuff. Does that what Richard means by on to greatness and new opportunities? Because that's definitely some of the bows. I guess some of the arrows in his bow, I guess, as it might say. We've got Hex at the moment at 57/100th of a penny, up 8.8%. We've got EHEX at 200th of a penny. And of course, the combined price EX and PX is at 77/100th of a penny. And obviously super cheap. I've seen a lot of price calls out there on X recently, talking about multiple dollars, $2, $5, $7. You can decide, but definitely we've had an inflation cut by the sacrifice incentive. Sorry, let me say OA sacrifice wallets. That's also been cut from about 7.6 hex per T-share down to about 1.7 hex per T-share, and that inflation also means that there's less inflation coming out. That generally makes it more bullish. And of course, if you had any other protocols coming in to use this, maybe Richard Hart's talking about this forking a wallet and bring a wallet. I saw Dirty Crypto out there with a theory about that, and of course, if you haven't checked out that, you can check that out. And so, yeah, let's see where that heads. It is game on for these pools. Obviously, with pulling back incentive token, we've lowered the liquidity on the PulseChain dramatically, and therefore, once we get an uptrend, we could be quite aggressive. Have we got rid of all the weak hands? Have we got rid of all the dumpers? Question mark. But we probably got rid of a lot. Let's see how we get on this uptrend and start getting parabolic after parabolic, and that's going to be the mission. Of course, we've seen a lot of people challenge that narrative, and of course saying this, sacrifice prices and things like that, and that's a fair comment. But we'll see what an uptrend looks like versus a downtrend, and of course what are the opportunities and new people will come into PulseChain. Definitely, we've seen things like banks are adding new people and new liquidity. New capital into the chain is just one of those many things that we could be having on PulseChain. And if we start stacking a lot of those bullish fundamentals on top of each other, including PR promotions, then that could be very exciting indeed to see where we head here with PulseChain in the bull market. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's kind of where we are on that. Let's quickly look at the gas prices. We're sitting at 1.4 million beats at the moment, so 1 cent for a PulseX swap. Validators at the moment, let's have a look at that. We've got 45,000 validators, and we had a big validator turn off, like 3,000 or so the other day, and looks like we're down a few more from there, sitting at 45,000. Like I say, to get 32 million pulse right now, pretty easy. And as you guys know, we've got, I think it's tomorrow, we're going to have the Ethereum EIP upgrade, right? That's going to potentially allow more than Ethereum to be used as fees for particular cases, and also have the EIEP upgrade to have over 2,000 ETH. So move from 32 to 2,000 and I think it's 28 Ethereum to be staked. So that could potentially make a big bull run on Ethereum with institutional investing. We'll see how that works, whether that bulk scaling does actually impact that, but that could be pretty big for institutional investments. So that is coming up. That's tomorrow's news for Ethereum, and that could be pretty cool for all EVM chains potentially. We'll see. Now the bridge at the moment is kind of our health check. Well, we're up. So it looks like we're about 1.4 million from yesterday. I think we're sitting at 81.6 million. We're now at 83. So this is a good sign. We're going back up there. And as you guys can see, Coast is sitting at about $9.6 million. And we're looking forward. I'm looking forward to that to start to grow and hit that 10 million mark and beyond. It's going to be pretty exciting. And hopefully we'll also get the Banksa banks and numbers on here somehow. That'd be pretty cool if we had that. That'd be pretty nice. If we somewhere, maybe not there on the stable coins, but definitely that'd be pretty nice to see that on the bridging there coming over as well. So pretty exciting. Let's jump over to the PulseChain volumes. And we've got $14.4 million in volume today. We were pretty low yesterday. We were at 10.9 million when we did the live stream yesterday. So it's good to see it back up today, right? Good to see it back up today. We're up from 10.9 million to 14.4. Yesterday we had 10.9, but before that we were at 12 million for a couple of days, about 3 days. And before that we were back up at 18 to 20 million. And before that, we were up in between 22 and 28 million. It's kind of the pathway we've followed through here. And here we are at 14.4. So we're back up. And how high will we get on the back of this Richard Hart news as more people hear about that? We already saw 50,000 people in 45 minutes that already liked Richard's post. And man, that's getting back to Richard's old days bullish news there, right? So that's pretty awesome. We've got 347,000 transactions. That's up about 45,000 from yesterday as well. That's kind of cool. What have we got leading? Well, on the last 24 hours, we got PMX up here at the moment. That's been around for a month. That's up 67%. We've got Solana, the pump tires, here up 26%. We've got Linker, it's been around for 4 months. That's up 26%. ALGO on the back of Hex is up 20%. PDC, the Grays versus Ink Pair, has been around for about, a year and 9 months, 10 months. That is up 18%. We've got SolidX from good old Firewell. We talked about Rack and Michelle. We've obviously got another big whale, Firewell, there doing his projects and leading the way as well. A big shout out for Firewell, a very ethical player, and of course a very exciting player on the field here in the old PulseChain is Firewell. A friend of Randy Alaska's, of course, another big PulseChain influencer. And of course, here we are, SolidX is up 16.5% there on that one. That is a pump tires as well. We've got Top Hat, of course, from Crypto Coffee. You do not want to miss that coming up today. We're going to be interviewing, of course, Crypto Coffee, arguably the number one influencer on PulseChain. And he's going to talk about his project, Top Hat, there. And we'll talk about that chart when we get him on as well. Then we've got Teddy Bear. And, of course, that's on the title of the video to get today. Teddy Bear Takeover, right? That is up 16%. Let's have a quick look at this. This is versus PDC, this pair. But look at this chart starting to break away. And this is pretty exciting. So if you guys aren't in my strategy club, it's only $35 a month. It's really great value. You would have known about Teddy on there. So I've got my top 10 in there. It's the only place you'll find it is in strategy club, the top 10 list there. And definitely join up today. $35 a month. Fantastic value, honestly. There are people out there charging, $3,500. You don't have to pay $3,500. It's $35 to get access to Strategy Club. Join up today. The link's in the video description, the private Discord, and that will also include $12.50 of value as a community member as well of the Discord general. So definitely get into that. And here we are at Teddy Takeover. It is up and breaking up towards heading towards 1 cent. Really is looking pretty bullish there, and that is going very well indeed. Now the big influencer behind this is arguably got the biggest numbers on X, right? Which is Moon King, 110,000 followers on X. Got a lot of networks with some, pretty heavy hitters. And man, this is really climbing here. And of course, Teddy Takeover on the move. Another pump tires there. Now we've also got PDC the Grays, as of course both Inkpair and PulseX on the move, up 16%. And as you guys know, I really consider PDC, close as we can in crypto to have a blue chip type of project. It is the first DAO token really on chain, and of course, in some ways, I guess inspired a lot of these printer tokens and other tax tokens that we've got out in the market. Has been a kind of inspiration for that. One of the best performers on PulseChain too, and I think it's going to have another day in the sun as well. So I think that's going to probably pick up pretty well there. Scott definitely got one of the best commentators on PulseChain, Crypto Perry Banana, and he does a great job covering PDC. So if you want all the inside outs, he's definitely somebody to follow there. And then, of course, then it brings up to Sun Mini Meal, man, the big European food corporate. Look at this thing fly. Woo! This is the forked, right? You're wondering why it's only been around for a while. Well, it's been around before this. It got forked back here on the 28th. So they've issued a new token, basically. And it started off at 2.8 cents. It is now at 7 cents. Yeah, boy. Bang, 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 bang. So it's going really well. And look, once they get the little teething issues out with the Banksa process, and that could be within 24, 48 hours, if they haven't done it already, then I think it's going to be pretty awesome running this. It's going to be fantastic. And remember, 20% of the corporate profits coming on to buy and burn SOAR token. It's huge. This is massive. And of course, talking about a firm potentially earning tens, hundreds of millions of dollars. And of course, who knows how big they could actually get in the world with their products, because they are pretty much the holy grail of healthy food with low calories. And of course, not only do you eat well, but with getting all your nutrients, but you also get to lose weight as well with the lower calories. So it definitely is pretty much in the holy grail territory there. And the value coming onto PulseChain, pretty exciting to see where this heads. Currently, market cap 354 million, liquidity 832k, and a liquidity volume 193k. And of course, if you've got them coming through the old Bankser, it's going to be pretty exciting to see where this goes. All right, we've got, of course, Doubt token there. Now it's 350 million now. How many billions it's going to be worth, right? If we rank up the market, now some market caps are rubbish, right? We know that, but some of them actually, maybe arguably fairly reflect value. You can decide on that. We've got Doubt token at the moment, what do we get? Up 15%. Another pump tires there. We've got PDC, the Greys, obviously another peer here. We've got Thaler. Now, obviously, you guys may have seen these tokens around, but we've got Thaler and Mona Lisa running around. They seem to be some other liquidity web type network, and of course associated with Teddy Takeover, right? They paired up Teddy Takeover, so it's been a pretty interesting protocols. They've been doing pretty well. So Thaler, they're up 15%. We got what else there? Gelato, been around for 5 months, up 14%. Obviously, we've got Richard Hart tokens starting to move up here. So Ink token up 14% there. So really starting to move on the old Richard Hart stuff. And this may accelerate today. We shall see where the old Richard Hart tokens move today. And it's going to be pretty exciting. We got SolidX here, the OG. So this is the one that's going to be burned by X Game. Now, if you haven't joined X Game, get the link in the video description because you can join up to our free X Game. It's the first dedicated community, and hopefully it's going to be the best of the best. And of course, you can help it make it that way with the old SolidX. And this is going to be burned off there. And this has jumped up quite nicely, $12.50. Sorry, 12.5%. And this has been a really nice pickup on the old SolidX there, bouncing off something like $7 or so. Now, also incentive token Hexal moving up at the moment, 12%. BBC token from the 9-inch exchange. As you guys can see, it's the fourth biggest exchange here. I'm a bit questionable about PDEX Vision. Don't know who founded that, so a little cautious about that one. Let us know if you guys know any intel on that. We got loan token there from Liquid Loans moving up 12%. And I did say this in a video covering DeFi the other day, that some of these big protocols like Liquid Loans would probably, once we start rallying an uptrend, will probably all get re-rated. So including the DEXs, the big liquidity forks, etc., things like that will probably get re-rated by the market, even though they're not rated very, very highly at the moment. So you're really buying off the bottom, and there's nothing much better to do with that. So anyway, that's kind of the play there. Get into our strategy club. Like I say, the link's in the video description. Talk more about that. We got Mooney token. I talked about that. It's kind of the parent of these, it seems, up 11% there. We got Sparta here. This is the one that people are talking about in the chat there about, buying. It's got a tax, and of course, a burn Sparta, buys Hex, and then uses that Hex later on, potentially burn more Sparta. And once Hex, I guess, has gone on a run. We got Gophers there from Dipcatcher. Now, Dipcatcher, of course, is doing bullish things for the EHEX token on Ethereum with the old Flex Hex there. And I think the fee is $50 to get a unit. It may be going up. So either has gone up or it's going up soon. So you want to get on that. I think they've raised $200,000 approximately for that so far. Now, he launched Gophers. This is the first 404 contract. It was an experimental on Ethereum, and he launched that straight away on here. That's up 10% today, $136 a unit there. That's doing pretty well. We've got X at the moment up 10%. So we've got a lot of tokens up 10% or more at the moment on the old PulseChain. And that is kind of where we are there with that. So not bad at all. Let's see what any more comments we've got in the house there. That is pretty exciting where we're heading with the old PulseChain. Man, things I think are about to get ready to rumble. Let's see what else there. We've got some more comments. We got Brian says, join Discord here. Yeah, that's the link to join Discord and join up to our strategy club. $35 a month. If you want to become a community member, that's $12.50 a month. It is a private Discord. We've got about 1,100 people in there. So join up today for the top tier alpha and strategy club. There we go, and become part of our awesome community. We also got Telegram in there, as you can get into that as well. That's free. And of course, we have an alpha list on there. That's quite a broad list. We curate that every so often. But we also got a lot of influencers and founders inside our Telegram group. You can join up in there as well. Yeah, get into Discord, get into Telegram, become part of our awesome community. All right, so that's kind of where we are on the markets. We're up to about 1 hour and 5 minutes. I'm going to end the show here today because we've got another show coming up in just under 2 hours with the biggest influencer in PulseChain, Crypto Coffee. And of course, he's going to be covering his new Top Hat token. And we're going to check that all out when we get to that. So definitely check out YouTube. We'll be posting it on Rumble, on X, and on Discord. So that is coming up in less than 2 hours. So I'm going to finish slightly early today and catch you on the next show. So I want to see you there. Definitely join up to that. In fact, I might actually pull it up here while I'm talking to you, and let's see if we can get that shaken and bacon on the old channel here. Let me just pull that up. And we're going to go to we're going to have to post on Rumble as well. But let's see here, live shows, and that is going to be pretty cool. Where are the live shows? I'm just trying to find it now. So that's coming up. Now, we've got Crypto Coffee today. But we're actually going to have, shows coming up there. In fact, I'm going to pull this up on the show here. We're going to show this first because I think it's probably smart to do that. And it's going to show up on the live stream here. And I'm going to post this on, of course, Crypto Coffee. That is coming up there. Show. That's in just under 2 hours. So I'm going to post that link here. And then we're going to get into on YouTube just to show you. I'm going to post this on X as well. If the mods could post this over on Rumble, that'd be great. And this will automatically show up on Discord in due course. So there he is. That is the Crypto Coffee Show coming up in less than 2 hours there. You don't want to miss that one. And of course, let's go back to the shows on the YouTube and check that out quickly. That is the shows. So we've got obviously Crypto Coffee coming up there. Interview of Crypto Coffee, Top Hat Unleashed. So that's going to be pretty cool. So I'm going to check out that's coming up there with Crypto Coffee in less than 2 hours. So now I'm 12 minutes away. Definitely want to join up to that. And then of course we've got the interview coming up tomorrow. This is tomorrow. You do not want to miss this one either. Meet the team powering PulseChain stablecoin revolution, Vibratile XUSD with Vibes. Now this has got Katie in there and Surfsing that we're going to have those people from the team coming on. We may even have the full team coming on. Just never know. But this is groundbreaking. Why XUSD is doing something very different with their incentives to move XUSD up towards $1. This is going to be pretty exciting and a very smart team. This is the team that obviously did PDI and Maker and all the other things the other day, and of course potentially has a lot of capital sitting on the side there as well. And we're going to check out their roadmap moving forward for XUSD. I find the project pretty exciting. It's a bit more complicated than some other projects that we've got on PulseChain. But man, we're going to hopefully get all the insights there from Katie and the team from XUSD. Pretty exciting. Now, we also know Raquel Michelle is the number one holder in the old XUSD and Vibes token. I think that's going to be pretty exciting. They also got a big trading LP web, right, where you get incentives for trading. They got a massive LP web. They web up to a lot of tokens. And, of course, also being associated with the parities around USDC, USD Tether, and PDI forks as well. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Maybe we'll cover a couple of those. We'll see how it goes. But XUSD, I think, is a pretty exciting protocol, and that's coming up as well tomorrow. So we've got some pretty heavyweight interviews coming up here on the channel, and you guys do not want to miss them. We're going to hear from obviously Crypto Coffee today, and Katie and the team from XUSD tomorrow. It's going to be pretty awesome. And who knows? Maybe we'll get Rochelle on the show very, very soon as well. Keep an eye out for that. All right, so that is kind of cool. I'm going to post, of course, a link to the Crypto Coffee Show after this live stream, and you'll be able to check that out as well. On that note, I think it's time to wrap up. Hope you guys have enjoyed the show. The crowd goes wild. Pretty awesome. Thank you very much. And, Richard's going to do a video. So we might as well play, our favorite Richard video. So let's hear from Richard before we leave after defeating the SEC and posting that today. And, of course, on to greatness and new opportunities. It doesn't get much better than that. Big shout out to Richard Hart. Congratulations on your epic battle. And we know it wasn't easy, and you have triumphed. So pretty exciting there.
What's up, bitches?
Play this one.
Richard here, a.k.a. Most Wanted.
It's coming. 3, 2,
a.k.a.
1.
Most Loved, a.k.a. Sack Daddy. If you happen to not live on planet Earth, you may have not heard the latest. I fucking beat the SEC case. I want to say thank you to my supporters for never doubting me. Adding to that, I want to send a clear message to anyone who did doubt me. You will not be spared.
I love that. That's fun. All right, so I'll see you in about an hour and 50 minutes with Crypto Coffee, the number one influencer on PulseChain, talking about Top Hat and, of course, his perspectives on PulseChain and crypto. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll catch you guys there. See you later. And don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, hit the bell, share around, all that good stuff. And I'll catch you on the next show in only an hour and 50 minutes from now. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.